Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Vanessa, welcome. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Back from my little jungle for a couple more days and then I move. I want to talk to you about significance and the need for significance today. Because I think a lot of people, or I don't just think, I know from personal experience and experience of friends and clients and so on, that often we are looking to gain significance when we actually want love. When we want to feel loved, when we want to feel significant. And that's why we go for people that maybe appear for us to have a significance, but they're not actually aligned and ready to love us and aligned to who we are. Or we go for jobs that have a certain title in order to get significance, or we want this car or that apartment, or we want more and more and more and more of the outside influences in order to match our desire for significance. When all we want on the inside is actually love. Significance is often a cover need, I would say, for the actual core need of love and wanting to belong and mean something and be on purpose. And significance can be a need, that's true, but often we are trying to meet that need of significance through outside influences rather than looking inside and understanding that we become significant when we allow ourselves to make a contribution, to give, to let love in, and to live a life that has meaning. And how do we live a life that has meaning? Well, first of all, by seeing our own value, seeing the value that we bring to the world and our own gifts and qualities. And even though if we had to go through difficult things, we all went through difficult things. Nobody talks about it. But a lot of people, if not all of us, have had trauma. We've gone through difficult things, and it is really about how we use what we went through that brings significance to our lives. Because we all are significant, but we don't often feel significant. And this is the need that we want to cover up through getting that title, through being with that person, through, like having that academic career and whatever. The question is, does this desire to have all these things come from an authentic place, from your heart? Or does it come from that need to fulfill that desire of significance when you actually want love? And this is something that I've thought about a lot, especially as somebody who really dedicates her life to service and to supporting others. And I've noticed that I can only be the woman that I am, the soul, the human that I am, and teach people what I do because I grew up in the way I did, because I went through those difficult times that I lived through those challenges of all kinds. And we all have those challenges, and we all live through those different good times and hard times. But the difference that is made by you personally is, what are you going to do with what you've experienced? Are you going to stay the victim? Are you going to stay the rebel? Or are you going to come into your own and integrate those parts? I'm not saying that you shouldn't grieve. I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry. It's okay. Process these emotions and integrate. Because when we feel an emotion through, the sadness, the grief of, having lived through something hard, the anger of mistreatment and injustice or whatever, yes, let yourself feel that. And this is not the end point. Getting stuck in anger and fear and sadness and resentment is not, it's not where you belong. It's not the place to be. It's okay to process, but when you get stuck in it, you are basically holding yourself back from living a beautiful life and making a contribution to others through what you learned in those difficult times. Yeah. And sometimes we're searching for meaning in the difficulty. And sometimes there is no sense in it, especially if you've gone through abuse or war or hard things, very hard things like that. There is no sense in it. But you make the sense. And this is how naturally significance is created, by you making sense of yourself getting through what you went through and still being here. And by processing those experiences and emotions, held emotions that come from it, you actually realize, wow, I made it through. So I'm the testament that it's possible to get to the other side. It's a testament by me having my own place maybe, or, you know, like having a job and being alive and having friends or whatever it is. I'm a testament to the fact that life goes on and we make our life based on who we decide to be, not based on what we decide to hold on to. Yeah. And so it's so important that you understand that you get to be an example, you get to be a role model, you get to be a teacher, you get to be an example that other people can make it too because you made it. And maybe only one of those words that I just said resonates with you. You don't need to be it all. But in your experience lies your contribution and your significance. And that is the authentic way to do it. You don't have to work hard and climb a mountain in order to gain significance. I'm also not saying that you don't need to work hard, but work hard on something that has meaning to you, that gives you a drive. And sometimes we are driven by love and by, you know, the need just to not have that happen again to somebody else, or to create a better future for your children or your husband or your wife or, you know, whoever. Find meaning in yourself, in who you are, because otherwise your past is for nothing. And that's okay too. You can let it go and live on, but often we cannot let it go because it has hurt us in some way. And in order to let it go, we need to find meaning, we need to find significance, we need to find the love and acceptance for what has happened to us. And that's not always easy, especially not if you go through very hard stuff. And then there's no sense in that hard stuff. But you can make sense by the way you choose to move forward, by the way you choose to live. And that is all the significance in the world. And do you see now how this happens naturally? And how this is not something that you need to win a prize for or buy a car for, or, you know, this is just being you and being really honest to yourself and facing those difficult emotions. Because sometimes we are holding on to emotions in order to hold the grudge, in order to feel significant in our pain. But this doesn't do you justice. You don't need to hold on to the pain in order to feel significant. You are significant when you let it go, because that is powerful. Forgiveness is powerful. And maybe you're not there yet, and that's okay too. But make it your work to process your emotions rather than holding on to the old. Because who is helped by that? Your resentment or your anger or your sadness. Who is helped by that? Nobody. And when you break free and you accept and integrate what happened to you, you actually get to make a significant impact in the world. And that is real power. And this is by alchemizing the experiences that you live through. And now make it into something beautiful. into something meaningful, into love. Even if there was pain and shame and hate and all those difficult, negative things, by you feeling through it and, you know, like accepting and letting go of those difficult things in the past, you're alchemizing. Sorry everyone, my phone died again, but what I was gonna say is I really truly believe we are put here in order to turn all that SHIT that we experience in life into gold. And it's our choice. So you get to choose. What are you gonna do with your life? Are you gonna cry about it? Are you gonna, you know, like just let it happen to you? Or are you gonna take action to make life beautiful for yourself, for the people you love, for other people that you can support and uplift with your own, you know, journey and with your own grace and strength and courage that you took from whatever you went through. It's our choice, I'm telling you. What do you choose? What do you want to choose? It's all up to us. And that can feel sometimes hard and heavy. But you know what? That's why we need communities like this one, where we can just talk to each other and, you know, feel supported and feel safe. So if anything is on your heart that you feel is heavy or difficult, just put it in the chat box below. Let somebody else like it. Let somebody else comment on it and say, hey, I feel this way too sometimes. You know, this all makes us feel less alone. So this is what I'm all about. Just creating a world that is safer and more loving. And we are all responsible for it. So what is the action, the small little thing you can do for yourself, but that maybe also has a positive impact for others? It can be super small. Post it in the comments below. I would love to read about it. Okay? My little contribution is my little video each day. And my biggest intention, I always set an intention before I record these videos. Like I often say, I just let my soul speak and let flow through what wants to come through. And I surrender and I allow it. And my intention is every time just to help at least one person, one soul that feels a little better after watching this, and hopefully, you know, feels more alive and a little more valued in this world, because you are. Even if you don't feel it right now, you are. Okay? So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you need support, personal support, one-on-one support, or group support, I have my next online breathwork session come up. You can just book it in the link below if you want to have a journey with me on one-on-one. You can also click the link below and learn stuff about my work on my website, and also book a free discovery call if this is of interest. And yeah, just reach out with any questions. And if you ever have a question on or a specific video request, just post it below. I read every comment, I answer every comment. And that's it from me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate and love you, and I see you in the next video. Ciao.